shotguns. Since the beginning of our country, Americans have been obsessed with them. What happens when you mix Italian craftsmanship with the American need to kill shit? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you get the Benelli M4. So now you've seen a little bit of the Benelli M4 shooting, but there's a lot to this gun. Like, why does it exist and what makes it cool? Plus, somewhere along the way, might get some head. You know, I've been calling this the Benelli M4, but this variant in particular, if you want to get specific, has the US military designation of the M1014. It's just a variant of this gun that has the full 7-round tube and this neat little folding stock here that allows it to be the, it's the law enforcement military version of the Benelli M4 series. This folding stock does get nice and compact too. I kind of like that. Not great for ergos, but I assume that's a storage thing. Got our EOTech EXPS series on top, but I did actually have to do a little bit of work to this gun to make it an actual M1014. You see, when they're imported, because import laws are fucking stupid, it doesn't actually have the folding stock, or the collapsing stock. It looks like it does, but it doesn't. It's fixed, it only has one position on it. So I had to buy the tube and the stock hardware to be able to have this multi-position folding stock, which is actually pretty neat. I dig it. I'd only pretty much would have it out in the fully extended position anyway, but it just looks, it would bother me knowing it couldn't. Also on the front end, I had to replace the tube to get the full 7-round tube. If you remember back the video we did with Swagger Souls when we were shooting this gun, it had a little fake 2-round tube extender. Again, that's probably like a factory import thing. Either way, unacceptable. After all, what if there's 7 riot? 7 ducks. So before we go over the basic manual of arms on the Benelli, I will say basic because it's pretty basic. It's a shotgun, just like Uncle Joe wants you to buy.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. First,
just a little bit of the backstory. So in 1998, the US military, I guess through Picatinny Arsenal, placed a request for these to be built. So what the US military wanted was a semi-automatic 12-gauge combat shotgun, and this is what Benelli gave them. In my opinion, one of the most reliable and yet smooth shooting shotguns that I own. And I own my share of shotguns. Part of that is attributed to the gas system, but we'll get to that later. First off, just a manual of arms. Got your charging handle here. Go ahead and show clear. So the gun is empty, and a quick inspection down there. You can see the follower, on the end of the tube there. So the tube is empty as well, so there's no ammunition in the gun. To close it, there's this little button here next to the tastefully placed American flag that you just simply press down on, and the gun is in battery. Got to push through safety here, so you can see the little bit of red that is exposed there on the safety. That means that it is on fire. You switch it to safe, this comes out, the red disappears, and the gun cannot shoot, the trigger's locked. But to take it off safety again, all you have to do is press that back off. You are now on fire, ready to kill. To fold the stock, all you have to do, press this button in and rotate, and it just kind of slides up, and then there you go, locks back in the closed position. Again, there's 3 positions on this, but pretty much the only one that's actually comfortable is that one, fully extended. At least for me anyway. This intermediary position was probably done for Italians. I'll make my Italian jokes every now and again, but they really are known for their craftsmanship, especially when it comes to shotguns. Really, they're just good at taking ideas from other people and twisting them to make them better, which makes sense why we contracted them for the M4. It's like they took the P38 Walther and they turned that into the M9 Beretta. They took noodles from China, turned it into pasta. They heard that the Greeks were having tons of sex and they thought that would be cool to try with women. ADD break. Now, as you guys learned from the intro, 12 gauge has no problem cutting through White Claw. Well, one thing I did want to demonstrate a little bit is the spread on something like double-aught buck. So you see we've got 4 White Claws out there. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of just the spread of the pellets on the shotgun and how this is sort of a to whom it may concern kind of weapon. Hitting reply all in 3, 2, 1. I think they got the message. I have many favorite things about what just happened, but I think the number one is all of the bottoms are still intact and didn't move. They stayed completely still while the rest of the carcasses, I guess, I don't know the appropriate phrase, the appropriate word to use there, just blew apart and went flying. But this is like, you've got to see this. Like, come over here. This is just perfectly intact. So now let's go into how this thing actually works. And while we're talking about that, I know a lot of you guys are interested in gun design and gunsmithing stuff, which is why, as I'm unscrewing this tube here, I'm happy to announce that we actually have a new partnership with SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. They are now the primary sponsor of the channel, so you'll be hearing a lot more about them. But they're great people to work with, and they're a great way to get your start in gunsmithing. So if you want to check them out, links will be down in the description and in the pinned comment. So now that I've unscrewed this, I can go ahead and pull this forward, and the entire barrel assembly kind of slides out around the tube here. The handguard just kind of splits off like that. So it's a two-piece clamshell, just pull that on out, and then you have your barrel and gas system. It also reveals, now that there's no barrel, your bolt. So we have a rotating lockup bolt here with the bolt carrier behind it. But on our barrel, this is where you can see the gas system I was talking about. We have two little pistons here that are what begin the rotation on that bolt. So when a round is fired, these two pistons are pushed back, which then, if you can see the little cutouts right here below the bolt, is where it pushes on the bolt carrier, which is while this is locked, which will push the bolt carrier back and unlock the bolt so that the gun can then cycle. It's definitely unique and it's kind of neat, but it's this kind of design that probably contributes to why this is such a soft recoiling shotgun, especially since all that we've been shooting all day is 12 gauge double-aught buck. You probably couldn't really tell that from the recoil though. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this gun back together. Line this up here, let's slide back, grab our handguard pieces here. Kind of fit those up there. Slide it back, that looks good to me. Put that back on and that just kind of ratchets down. Make sure it's good and tight. There we go. And our Benelli is back together. And now for a quality example of why Marines fucking love shotguns. We have our volunteer here. I'm naming him Nick because at this point in time, he is nearly headless. Nick here is a head and kind of shoulder bust that was sent over to us by our friends at Ballistic Dummy Labs. So we are going to use this to kind of give a very graphic representation of what 12 gauge buckshot does to the human head. It's like all my gun safety right now is going off because even doing that feels really wrong. So I can only imagine how this next bit's going to feel. No head? Jesus. So we have our entrance wound here, right here in the base, the back of the skull, which completely blew the skull cap out the back. And our exit right through here, out the other side through the ear. Also, you can't forget the second rule for surviving Zombieland. Double tap. I always wanted to do this. I got your nose. One other cool thing I forgot to mention about this gun. Now I know we just did a video not too long ago with the KSG-12 where I called it the shotgun from John Wick because, well, it was the shotgun from John Wick. This one actually did get to see a good bit of prominent use in John Wick 2.
May I suggest the Benelli M4? An Italian classic.
One of the things he did in that movie that was just super fucking cool is when the gun ran dry, pulled the action open while the gun was pressed into a dude's chest, sent it forward, and then of course, you know, got rid of the guy. It's a cool scene. That's a fucking cool movie. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Benelli M1014. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this gun, and more importantly, what's the most disgusting thing that you would do to get one? No Fed posting. We're gonna be filming another range video soon. We've got two options for you guys. We've got the HK UMP45 or the FNP90. Let me know down in the comments which one you'd rather see and why. Bonus points, of course, if you use the hashtag AKG Notification Squad, meaning you've got your notifications on and you're there commenting in the first hour. I'm starving, so I'm about to go breach the door to my local brisket joint. But as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks. Ow. Fuck. Does the same fucking thing the AR does. Very dangerous to beard hair.